Alright guys, welcome back. I have a game for you, and it wasn't Spo or Nyria or any of those guys, it is Powder who will be coming up next. And these guys are pretty much ready to go. So yeah, these guys are actually ready to go right now. So Powder has just come off the back of winning the BlueStacks Invitational. He beat RDU in the finals, and it was a $3,000. There was a $3,000 prize. He also, his teammate AK Wonder did pretty well. He got pretty deep into the tournament, as well as Dr. Hippie, who was there's rumours around him signing to a new team. But you can check GosuGamers if you want to learn more about that. So this game should be starting very, very soon. Let's see what they are up to. So they've picked their classes. They just need to get into the game and invite me. Alright, so these guys are ready to go. Powder against Edelfinn. So, I'm going to call him Finn. Oh, bear with me a minute, guys. Oh, there we go. He's going to be giving me the invite again. So yeah, Edelfinn and Powder. Powder rank 12 in Europe at the moment, so gained a lot of points from winning his first tournament. Powder's always had consistent kind of top 8 placements, but he's been looking for that win for quite some time. So now he has it. I expect Powder's going to go on to bigger, brighter things. He's a very talented player. His opponent, on the other hand, is someone completely new to me. These community cups usually have an influx of newer players just trying to try out the tournament scene or try and get those HCT points. So Powder is going to lead with the Secret Paladin. Now, Powder was a player back in the GVG days who had great success with the early versions of mid-range Paladin, really showing the power of muster for battle, shielded mini-bot, stuff like that. So he has a lot of experience with these sort of Paladin decks. Edelfinn looks like he's going for the Patron Warrior. We've already seen kind of an unknown player play the Patron Warrior, and he did struggle a little bit with it, with some of the mechanical and decision making. But we'll see how Edelfinn does instead. So Noble Sack does come out, blocking that Armor Smith and giving it a little bit of a beating. And the spider is popped open. So this does threaten the Armor Smith. Muster of a Battle can come down now, and the weapon plus one of the spiders can deal with it. So I think Edelfinn was preparing for a Muster for Battle. He didn't want the spider to gain some value on just chipping 1 damage at that Armor Smith. He wanted to pop up the Haunted Creeper and force the remains to do the work. An Unstable Ghoul is going to match this board very nicely, and Powder is going to have to throw all these 1/1s away just to deal with the Ghoul, but still is able to drop a Piloted Shredder on the back of it, so not too bad for Powder at the moment. And this is the Crowcon Elite version of Patron. So this is the faster variation, not packing those Piloted Shredders and just going for a bit of that burst. Made popular by Crane Complexity's recent sign-in. So the Sludge Belcher is going to protect Powder, but also make this Acolyte pin a little bit more awkward. He's going to need a little bit extra to be able to get some draws off it, like a Whirlwind effect. So goes for the Execute. So what he's doing here, he is making the token be developed from the Death Rattle, so he can get some additional value from this Acolyte pin. And this is what Acolyte pin loves doing most. Hitting these 1 attacks, drawing 1 to 2 cards. And then Stable Ghoul again, another card which is going to allow this Acolyte to get extra value and extra draws. But the one issue is Dr. Boom's about to come down, so the weapon will be able to clear up the remainder of this Acolyte of Pain. And to be fair, Edelfinn did get 3 draws from it, so you can't really complain. But Mysterious Challenger gonna come down with not a full Christmas tree, so probably just Competitive Spirit along with the 3 traditional secrets. So no Repentance in sight. So there is an argument that Lesser Heal is not a bad pick in Patron, because you can heal your patrons up and then you can keep the kind of patron train going with your hero power, much like the Fire Blast does. The only difference is, of course, that you don't get an instant patron. You do demand your opponent having something on board that you can hit and then heal and so on and so forth. So Edelfinn is just going to run straight into the Noble Sack here. And the Chain of Secrets is going to pop off. Hits the Mysterious Challenger, not the best target. You would have rathered the 2-1 simply because you want to spread the power along your board. Dread Course is going to come down for a bit of protection. But the Competitive Spirit is going to boost our little Noble Sack there. What's the soldier's name? Defender. Our Defender. And he is going to be able to trade into that Dread Courser without too much trouble. So a 10-9 on board, followed by a Dr. Boom. No executes in hand. And the pressure is now on. And Edelfinn's going to have to find a way to clear, well, at least the Mysterious Challenger. How he's going to do this without killing himself, I really don't know. It's going to be quite a task. And he knows it, that it's not possible. And Powder takes a very quick game number 1 with that Secret Paladin. So a very convincing start from Powder. Just lining up that Secret Paladin, getting kind of a stable curve. I mean, he had Muster into Shredder, into Belcher, into Challenger, into Boom. And that's what Secret Paladin's infamous for, having that kind of line of minions that they can play on curve, which represent just far too much of a threat, especially when you get to Challenger and all the secrets go off, and if you haven't dealt with the board, you have to deal with all the powered up minions. So very convincing win there for Powder. We're going into the next game, and it's going to be a Warlock against a Patron Warrior once again, and it's going to be a Reno Warlock. So not Zoolock like Blackout was running earlier. So Reno Jackson stays in the opening hand, and one thing I've learned from... I played a lot of Reno Jackson Warlock when VLPS made that Leroy list, and I come to learn that having Reno Jackson in your hand allows you to be a lot more dangerous. Especially when you have it available, and then you can take risks because you have that fallback to make heal. You can play a little bit more aggressively because any damage your opponent does to you is just going to be negated by the Reno effect. So that's potentially why Powder has kept in his hand. But a Shredder's... No Shredder Implosion, sorry, he's going to come down. I'd much prefer. If it rolls a 2, it's a little unfortunate, but a Mortal Coil would be there to back it up a little bit later. So not a bad start for Powder. Deals with the first minion coming down from Edelfinn. Unstable Ghoul, much like last game, is going to line up against these 1-1s without too much of a problem. And that Fiery Rorax does clear the 1 imp. And the reason he's done this is he doesn't want all the imps to just run into the Unstable Ghoul and then he plays something. He's trying to force him to use another resource in order to deal with this Unstable Ghoul. But Powder is going to ignore it and just drop that pile to Shredder. And that lined up absolutely beautifully for Edelfinn there, clearing the entire board and having that Death Spite developed. So even though the Sludge Belcher is coming down, it is just going to get destroyed by that Death Spite with ease. The only saving grace is the token, the 1/2 token from it is going to stick around. So we will have a minion on board, but the Battle Rage is going to come down, and some card draw is going to start fueling this Patron Warrior. So Edelfinn's starting to get some momentum going here with that card draw, with those good trades with the Death Spite. Powder, on the other hand, he has a lot of resources in hand, a lot of different situational answers to what Edelfinn can do. Hellfire is ready for the first Patron turn. And Morcoil gonna pop that Ghoul open. Both Ghouls gone very early, much like the previous game. And Peddler's probably going to line up with a 1-drop unless there's a Power Overwhelming. Power Overwhelming and Soulfire. Spoilt for choice. I can imagine an Overwhelming. Yeah, I can't really see a Soulfire going to your hand if you have an option to take Power Overwhelming. But second Death Spite's going to come down ready to fire off with that Patron next turn. Even setting up that Acolyte of Pain to try and get some extra draws. So not much of a response here from Powder. Dart Bomb is just going to allow 1 draw from the Acolyte. And we saw last game that Edelfinn actually got 3 draws from his Acolyte, and it didn't make a difference in the end. But now Edelfinn's going to pull the trigger on the Patron. Curious to see if he's going to invest the Whirlwind as well, because our last player who played Patron was a little bit more hesitant on firing off Inner Rages and extra cards to make a big Patron boards. But Edelfinn is going to commit, and unfortunately for him, Powder is sitting on that Hellfire. So not much going on here. One thing he has to consider is Grom Inner Rage next turn. That could finish him off. A tap won't put him in range of that. He will be safe. So Grom double Inner Rage will take him out, but the chances of that are pretty slim. And now we have a very aggressive response from Edelfinn, knowing that Powder is kind of on the ropes for the health. But as we know, Reno Jackson is sitting in his hand ready. But might just go for a heal bot here to develop more minions. What could he go for? So Reno's going to heal him for to full, and he's going to have 3 mana left. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So couldn't tap either, because if he had tapped, he would have overdrawn. So could go for the tap now, but I don't mind Sun Fury too much. Just force Edelfinn to use either minions or weapons to punch through, maybe even an execute. But Powder takes a more patient approach. Slam not finding anything too useful. Goes for the trade here. It's just going to be Armor of Pass, I can imagine, unless he wants to commit a Grom. But so prone to BGH, that's not what you want to run into. So all that momentum that Edelfinn had built up is gone now in a Reno Jackson turn, which is what the deck is very good at. Kind of breaking down momentum with that full heal. So a Zombie Chow comes down first. Into Owl Loatheb. Okay, so just developing just bodies on the board right now. Try and tackle anything that comes from Edelfinn's hand. Fortunately for him, he doesn't really have anything. That Loatheb locking out 3 spells, which he needs for his Patron turn. Just goes for the Whirlwind. Probably clear up the rest of that Zombie Chow and pass. Very weak turn for Edelfinn. And a Twisted Nether sitting ready to deal with the next Patron board that could potentially come. So Powder is so far ahead now. Kind of just play what he wants. Drop a Sylvanas, taunt them up. Forcing him to have weapons and execute some minions. And Sylvanas makes things a little awkward. So double Inner Rage is the only way he's going to be able to activate. Not going to get a Whirlwind effect off. And now Edelfinn is going to just hope that this is enough to keep him in the game. And he doesn't even wait. He knows that Powder's way too far ahead, on board and in hand. And once again, Powder takes a convincing win. So the pros are really shining in this tournament at the moment. Blackout taking a 3-0 victory over his opponent. And now Powder is lining up for a 3-0 sweep as well. So performing very well so far. We have a lot of pros in this tournament. A lot of SK guys signed up. Martin Creek, Spo, Powder, for example. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed so far. But we have a lot of rounds left in this tournament, and when we get to the nitty-gritty parts where these pros will be confronting each other, that's when the real fun's going to start. So mid-range Druid coming down from Powder, safe pick, consistency, all that stuff you know about Druid. All that stuff you probably hate about Druid at this moment in time. And Edelfinn wants to win with that Patron. He lines up against a decent matchup. Druid can still win this. It's probably like 55-45. Could be 60-40 if the Patron player is exceptionally good. But, you know, we all know what Druid is capable of. We know what they're like. So you can't really count Druid out of anything. So Finley not getting the Hunter Hero power, but opts for the Silver Hand Recruit. So maybe going for the board game, going for that kind of mid-range board battle. And this is where, oh wow, so that was a brilliant draw from Powder. I was about to say Innovate Drake is the go-to play here, but drawing that Pile to Treader now evens out the curve. So makes it so much better. Slime is going to find something, just another Fiery War Axe. So the Fiery War Axe does contest what Powder has lined up. So he dealt with the Drake. And now it's going to deal with the Pile to Treader without too much problem. So Powder might just throw the Shredder out for a... just to get rid of that Fiery War Axe, at least the first part. He could have went for the Shade. If he wanted to play a little slower. Maybe try and find something else for the Fiery War Axe to hit. But that Fiery War Axe is going to a minion. So you might as well use one of the most durable minions, which is the Pile to Shredder. So something with 1 health would just line up perfectly for Edelfinn. So Shade Hero Power kind of looks pretty obvious here. Hero Power into the Throbbing, then run the Mad Bomber into it. And that is what he's going to go for. Don't think there was... oh, well, he could clear the Armor Smith. Depends how much damage he's willing to take. Because that's going to add free attack to this Throbbing Berserker. So it's going to become a 6-4. But Powder doesn't want to gamble with his health total too much at this point. Just decides to go for the clean trade on that Throbbing. He could have kept the Mad Bomber alive along with the Armor Smith, but didn't feel like it was worth taking that much damage. So there's a Harrison Jones. That could be a good punish. So Hero Power, keep it the Grove on the Ghoul. Might just be the go-to play here. I guess the sad thing about this for Powder is the Death Rattle effect will put him in Fiery War Axe range, but he does decide to clear the Armor Smith as well. I quite like that. It's forcing him to use both his charges of his Fiery War Axe. But he's going to throw an Execute at the Shade, not saving it for anything bigger. And now Ancient of Law is probably going to come down, and he's going to wish he had that Execute sitting ready. Finds an Innovate as well, so if a Wrath comes off this card draw, that Acolyte is going to be dealt with. Doesn't find a Wrath. 2 Wild Growths is very clunky, but he'll be able to cycle them in the near future. And Edelfinn not even bothering to trade here, leaving the Ancient of Law alive. But that will cost him his Dr. Boom if he decides to go for a trade with the Living Roots. Could just go for an aggressive stance here. Play Druid of Claw and charge. And just go face. If he does that, it'll take him down to 21 and 17. So he's not quite there. Just going for the taunt. Okay. I guess he wants to clear the Acolyte of Pain first. Oh no, he's going for face. So potentially set. So So he's got a guaranteed 16 damage from combo plus the Living Roots. Not a good boom bot. Again, not another good boom bot. He's going to have to run his Acolyte and his weapon. Oh, goes for the Whirlwind. I like this because it sets up a massive Battle Rage turn. And Slam is going to line up an Acolyte trade as well. So a lot of card draw coming for Edelfinn. And he gained a considerable amount of armor on top of that. And not afraid to just keep playing minions. And rightfully so, a Druid needs to find mostly honest ways to deal with this. Force of Nature combo being another tool he can use for trading. Finds a Wrath. Maybe hoping for a swipe there. Deals with the Armor Smith first. Doesn't want Edelfinn gaining any more armor. He wants to put him in combo range. So Despite Inner Rage should just be it. Yep, and that is going to be it. So Edelfinn gets on the scoreboard with a win of his patron. But he does have a Druid to go up against with his remaining decks. So it is going to be a bit tough for him. But he gets a win on the board. And now Powder doesn't get that clean 3-0 sweep. Just a Druid remaining. So what else have we seen from Edelfinn, if I remember rightly? Or is he just queued in Patron? I think he's just queued in Patron for everything. So we haven't seen what other decks he has available. But we're about to get into the next game. So this is game number 4. And we're going to be going into a Druid Mirror. So I'm curious to see how these Druids are built. I saw a lot of mind control tech being used recently. Harrison might be in the list. Not that I have much impact at the moment. So Living Roots for Powder at the start. Wild Growth for Edelfinn. But Wild Growth in response from Powder. So both of these guys are getting the ramp they need. Edelfinn has the advantage of Force and Innovate. So you can Innovate him out now. And he reduces 2 pieces of the combo. Now, it isn't a Savage Roar and a Force of Nature, it's double Force of Nature. But that will allow him to potentially use a Force of Nature as a defensive tool. We'll have to see. But Swipe is an immediate answer to this Force. And right now, Edelfinn only has the Shade to play next turn. So he's going to want to find something else. Doesn't find that. He finds the Swipe. But Hero Power will be able to clear it up. So this is just going to be that typical Druid back and forth. Both players are just going to play minions. They're going to react to each other's minions with spells like Swipe and Wrath. And eventually one player is going to be able to leverage the board enough that his opponent can't deal with the pressure he's putting on the board. So you'll find one player clear the board and have a minion left, and then his opponent won't be able to do anything about it. And then the next turn they drop another minion, and then they maybe use a bit of removal or do an optimal trade to clear the other side of the board, and then they start to build upon that, and the combo becomes a very realistic threat early on, which is what makes these quite scary, these matchups, because you don't know who has all the combo. And as we can see in Powder's hand, he's already sitting on the Force of Nature Savage Roar. And the clunky draw for Edelfinn here. Swipe is not going to really do a lot. Decides to go for it just to clear both the 1/1s. And it's the fear of that combo. It's the fear of how much damage the Druid can do by cheating out with Innovates, for example. So that could... I don't know if that would have been lethal. Let me have a think. So 19... 22... 25. So it was 25 if he didn't clear any of the 1/1s. But as you can see here, Powder goes for the aggressive ping to the face with that Keeper of the Grove. He's just trying to set up for this combo as fast as possible. But Edelfinn does notice that and uses his Shade of Nax to clear it up. So not enough to finish him off just yet. The Powder does have the combo waiting. But just going to clear up that Shade. Maybe play this in charge. I wouldn't mind that too much. Play this in charge and then coin Hero Power to squeeze an extra damage. So you do 5 damage. Taking him down to 19. Your Shade grows up to 5, so he does 7. So the Shade alone in combination with the combo, plus the Innovate as well, the Hero Power on the following turn. That is more than enough to finish off Edelfinn here. Unless he heals with Ancient of Law and clears the Panther. So if he heals with Ancient of Law, he goes up to 24. And the combo is going to represent 15 plus 7. So he will be 2 damage out. He'll be 2 out of range of the combo. So yeah, he's going to go for the heal. And the Hero Power in combination is going to keep him alive. Oh, he doesn't go for it. Okay. I don't actually mind this. Aspirant is fine. He could have Hero Powered for a bit more safety, but I don't think it was completely necessary. So now Powder doesn't have the combo till next turn. And of course there's always the fear that your opponent's going to combo you as well. And this is pretty much what happens in this Druid mirror. Both players are just like, has he got it? Do I take a risk? Do I play around it? Do I trade now in case he does have it? But Powder is sitting on double Savage Roar with the Innovate. So next turn he'll have 22 damage without any minions in play. And that shade, as long as it stays hidden, will be enough. But he's got to consider, does he have the combo? I don't mind taking the risk. Just hero power the 5-1, cross your fingers, and hope for the best. But it looks like he's going to go for the attack now, instead of waiting. So both Ancient of Laws have been used. There are no more heals. Is this going to be enough? I don't think so. Nope, it's just going to be the trade. So Powder, 22 damage sitting in hand. As fair as that sounds. And he is going to take the win. And to be fair to Edelfinn, there's not a lot he can do. Which is why a lot of people don't like this Force of Nature Savage Raw combo being in the game. Because of, we can even squeeze in a hero power on top of that. And so here we have it. Powder is going to be going through to round 3. So well played to both players. I don't feel like Edelfinn played badly at all. I felt Powder and him were quite good, well matched. But ultimately, Powder probably had the better decision making overall, which snagged him the win. An excessive amounts of damage to finish off that game. So Powder is going to be going through to round 3. So before I start getting the next match set up, I'm just going to go through the bracket and give you guys an idea of who else has gone through. So Spo lost in round 2. He lost 3-1 to Hawaii. I'm just going to call him. I can't see the rest of his name. So Powder, as we know, went through. Gladile beat GosuGamers Mephisto 3-1, and he was the winner of the last GosuCup in EU, well, the first one. So he is still on the road for maybe potentially taking another one. Silvername and Shutan Udachi are currently playing. That is a match I did want to get for you guys, but I didn't want to keep you waiting too long, so I got Powder's game instead. RG went through to round 2 as well, and he's up against Victor Stay. So Victor Stay's name does ring a bell. I think he may have played in the European Last Call Championship last year in October to try and qualify for BlizzCon. I think that's where his name might be coming from. I have cast a lot over the last 8 months, so these names do kind of crop up in my head. Let's see who else. Nyrio's through to round 2 as well, and he's currently playing his game. Hannibal's 2 from the PGL Tavern Tales. He's gone through to round 3, beating his opponent. And let's see who else. So Blackout, again, also is going through. And Kallax is in round 2, and he's still playing his game against Rame Kano, who played in the first match of the last GosuCup. So that is his opponent. So that is a little bit of an update on the bracket. I'm going to try and get you a game from round 3 as soon as possible. So if I can, I'll try for you Russian guys to get one of your players going. I really like Silvername. I managed to cast a couple of his games from the ESL Legendary Series in Katowice, so I was very impressed with him. So I'll try and get him on stream next. So don't go anywhere, guys. We will be back soon with some more Hearthstone.